Multicellular plants have specialized cells organized into tissues, organs, and organ systems. You need to be familiar with the organization of multicellular plants and animals, and specifically know the definitions of cells, tissue, and organs. Each of these images shows a different level of organization, starting with the cell, the basic building block. Then we have tissues, which are a group of cells with a similar structure and function, and organs, which are aggregations or collections of tissues performing specific functions. Leaves are plant organs that function as the main site of photosynthesis and control water flow in the plant. So how can we observe the tissues that make up leaves? To understand how leaves work, we have to look at a cross-section under a microscope. Now imagine cutting across a leaf like this, not into the top or the bottom. We're then going to look into it using a microscope. Can you name any of the tissues that make up a leaf? The specialized tissue in leaves is found in layers. This diagram shows a leaf cross-section. So let's have a look at the layers that make up this leaf. Right at the top is the upper epidermis. This large layer below is the mesophyll layer, and right at the bottom is the lower epidermis. So those are the layers. Now let's have a look at the tissue types within the layers. So the upper and the lower epidermis contain epidermis tissue. The mesophyll layer contains Palisade mesophyll tissue, and also the xylem and phloem. Together, these make up the vascular bundle. And here's the epidermis again of the lower epidermis. You need to be familiar with epidermal tissues, Palisade mesophyll, Spongy mesophyll, xylem, phloem, and meristem tissue, as after this whole topic, you will need to be able to explain how the structure of these different plant tissues are related to their functions. So what do these tissues do, and how do their structures relate to their function? We're going to use this table to link tissue structure to function, starting with the epidermal plant tissue. This is a transparent layer, and it's transparent to allow light through for photosynthesis. It also protects the leaf and secretes a waxy substance that makes the leaf waterproof. We call this the waxy cuticle. It's a thin protective layer that's transparent so it doesn't block the sunlight. You need to be able to explain the fact that it's a transparent layer that allows light through for photosynthesis, and the epidermal tissue layer protects the leaf. Can you remember what the next layer down is? So this is the Palisade mesophyll that lies below the upper epidermis. This is regular shaped, tightly packed, and contains lots of chloroplasts, and this is because it's adapted for absorbing light and is the major site for photosynthesis. So in this diagram, you can see that there are lots of chloroplasts shown by the little green dots within the cells. Remember, chloroplasts are used in photosynthesis. You need to be able to explain the fact that being packed full of chloroplasts leads to the Palisade mesophyll being useful for utilizing sunlight for photosynthesis. So we've looked at the layer responsible for photosynthesis. Can you now think what else the leaf needs to be able to do? The next plant tissue is the spongy mesophyll. This is spherical shaped with a large surface area and air gaps, and it's a major site of gas exchange. It's called spongy mesophyll because of these air gaps. The gap can be seen in this diagram here where the cells are separated from each other. These air gaps are what enables gas exchange to take place in the leaf. The cells are also lined with a thin layer of water into which gases dissolve as they move into and out of the cells. Again, you need to be able to explain the fact that being spherical shaped allows for these air gaps between the cells, which then allows a space into and out of which gas exchange can occur. Now let's have a look at the function of the veins of the leaves. So the last plant tissues we're going to look at are the xylem and phloem. In this diagram, you can see a stem cross-section with the xylem shown in red and the phloem shown in blue. The xylem and phloem cells are tube-like, forming the vascular bundle, and they function in transport. So the xylem transport water up the plant, and phloem transport food up and down the plant. For the exam, you will need to be able to link the structure of the xylem and phloem to their specific functions, which will be covered in full detail elsewhere in the course.
Thanks for watching. If you want to take your GCSE revision to the next level, head over to launchpadlearning.com and check out our smart learning platform that's been designed to get you top results in your exams. We cover your whole specification and make revision fun with interactive quizzes, easy to follow videos and more. You'll be kept motivated by your own AI tutor who's here to support you every step of the way. To check it out for yourself, click here. Or click here to keep watching a selection of the videos from our full GCSE Biology course. See you there!